Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Hello all, and welcome, and this is a very late Sunday night review. This is the Club of the Man 1993, and once again, we are here. Live! I'll choke my spit there. For my live review of Saturday afternoon's edition for us in the US of WWE's Crown Jewel, or as you used to say, Crown Jewel 2023. Took place again this past Saturday, November 4th, 2023, in the Mohammed Abdu Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The second, of course, Saudi Arabia show of the year, where the WWE gets $50 million paid to them just to come here and put on a show. And that's what we got. Crown Jewel, of course, I didn't watch really or review these until, of course, Triple H took over, because he actually put some interest into the shows, some effort. But I didn't hate this one. Last year's Crown Jewel for sure was the best one, in my opinion. Of course, I haven't watched the other ones, so I can't really judge. Just parts of the other ones. And I almost did a live reaction to one match from the first Crown Jewel, but I didn't have the time in the end. Maybe I'll still do it at some point if I have the time in the next couple of weeks, but we'll see. I still kind of want to do it. I might want to add it back to my list of to-dos for the channel. This one, though, I didn't hate it completely. There were some small things that kind of progressed some stuff further. It's probably WWE's weakest pay-per-view this year, though, in my opinion. It wasn't great, but I didn't hate it either. I did feel, though, it kind of dragged a little bit. Was it just me? The show was 3 hours and 20 minutes, not including the pre-show. It still felt like it was dragging to me. Probably the crowd was hot until after the John Cena and Sikoa match, which was only the third match on the card. And already the show was starting to feel long for some reason. And once that crowd died, the show just wasn't quite the same. But the matches weren't really terrible either. It's just some of the stuff, it was somewhat predictable. We've seen the same things from these matches. Roman Reigns, for instance. There was a lot of interferences also in the matches too, which kind of hurt them a little bit. We did get a big return. Surprising twist, though, this person returned as a heel. And a few other little tidbits that kind of could further some storylines on to make it a little more interesting. But either way, it was still probably the weakest show of the year. Wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great either. But we're going to get into it. It is late at night. If you caught my SmackDown review, it was super duper brief. Again, I was busy all weekend. I unfortunately didn't get to anything else. But I will hopefully this week try to get to some other things. That's why I'm trying to get these done tonight. And a turn alert, that's official, of course, from this pay-per-view with a certain return. And again, like I said, hopefully I get some other things going on the channel. Because again, we are 48 subscribers away from 2,000. And again, my goal is the end of the year get to 2,000. I have other things in mind. I have something that's going to be a work in progress. You'll find out by the end of the month if I do it in December or not. But that, I got to get a Survivor Series card. And a Survivor Series is going to be before you know it. And let me put it this way. I know I've said a lot of things about certain things for Survivor Series that or other things that's been rumored for a while that I'll believe it when I see it. But I'm basically going to treat my Survivor Series card like a dream card. I'm going to go all in on that and put some names in that card that I'm saying I'm going to believe it when I see it. I would want to do like a what if this could happen basically thing for my Survivor Series card. So do not judge it, of course. But we're going to get rolling. Hopefully, again, I'll get to do the turn alert. That way I can do some other things this week. I wanted to get some video game stuff done this week, but I got absolutely nothing done this weekend, unfortunately. But, it's okay. Let's check my live chat and see what we got here. We got Tyler saying this was crown shit. He also said, I did my worst matches live. I started watching it. I got through your number 9. I still got to finish it. But you did have some good picks so far, I would say, Tyler. Mark joined us live saying, how are you? And he thought that this Crown Jewel sucked. If you ask me, the wrong person won in Cena versus the solo match. Tyler said the main event was a letdown. We have a Baxter saying, yo, what's up, Baxter? Seth and Drew should have been the main event, as I predicted, because I went all out in a prediction I did, which could still happen. The results from it may be more so. We'll talk about that in a second. At first, I was going to be Cody, who stopped Damian from cashing in. I had no clue who it was, but of course it was Sami Zayn. But we'll talk about that later as well. Solo beat Cena, but Umaga did not. Who booked this crap? That's kind of true. Yeah, why did... Then of course, Vince booked that crap and put the right person over with Solo, even though I did predict Cena, but we'll talk about that later on. So I wonder if they're going to have Io break away from Bayley and Dakota. It's looking like the seeds are planting towards it. And we've got Robbie One Kenobi in the live chat. What's up, my friend Robbie? He goes, what are your thoughts on the LWO since they reformed earlier this year? And do you think we will get a big Santos Escobar Rey Mysterio Jr. match at WrestleMania with Rey's career on the line? That's not a bad idea. I like the group. It feels like that they're there, though. Like, they've given Rey a spotlight. They've given Santos a spotlight. They really have not done much. I mean, they gave Zelina Vega a very brief one with her that match in Puerto Rico, but they've done really nothing with her since. And then, of course, you got Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro, who hasn't done much either. There was a couple matches that they had, I remember, when they first got called up, that I was kind of like, okay, because in NXT, I just thought they were jobbers. But they had a couple good matches, but then they kind of just disappeared with them. And then, of course, Carlito's kind of with them now, and, he has his match with Bobby Lashley next week. We'll see who sides with who. I do think we are going to be getting a Mysterio and Escobar match down the line, like on pay-per-view. Maybe WrestleMania. I tell you what, though. I've been listening, though, to a lot of Chris Van Vliet's podcasts lately. I listened to one he did with Kalisto very recently. Kalisto had mentioned an idea he had where it'd be him versus Rey at WrestleMania, which that was always a dream match of mine, but the loser had to unmask. Hearing that and knowing Triple H is back kind of made me want to see that match. I think I've also read recently that Rey's looking at about another 1.5 years, 2 years before retiring. So I I don't know if Santos, he could be the one to retire Rey. Man, though, if they would give Kalisto another shot, that would be another great way out, too. But yeah, the LWO, they're fun, but them as a group has not progressed, in my opinion. Mark said the winners were predictable. I don't get why Soul even won when he got crushed on the mic on SmackDown. We will get to that in a little bit later on. But thank you guys for your thoughts in the live chat as always. I'm going to get started with this Crown Jewel review. And again, hopefully after I'll have time for my turn alert. It's been a while, like over 2 months since I think I last did a turn alert. And I do have 2 still pending. Brock Lesnar, whenever he comes back. And The Miz, which he was on the show actually as well. And kind of a pointless segment if I'm being honest. But we will roll on. Oh, Robbie adds in, you mean give Kalisto another shot at them things. Lucha things. Ah! One of my favorite botches still. I make some great lucha things. But not really runs off. All right, but let's roll in and let's talk about the show. Now I did watch the show with my nephews, so they did want to see the pre-show match, which was Sami Zayn versus JD McDonough. Decent match. We've seen it how many times though? How many times are we going to get Judgment Day versus Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Kevin Owens, all of them. I probably will start repeating myself again. We've seen this match how many times? For a pre-show match, it was solid. For giving JD McDonough on a pre-show, a pay-per-view, fine. He still put on some solid performances, but again, as I said on Raw, he's turned into the Judgment Day's personal punching bag. And they're still saying he's auditioning for a role in the Judgment Day. Then why the heck would they act like he was basically with them this past week? And no problems being addressed. That still made no sense. But as expected, Sami Zayn did win. But it wasn't the last time we would see Sami Zayn. Because we kicked off the main show. And again, I'm going to say it. I made a super duper bold prediction for this match in my preview. And I actually predicted it to close the show. Because I kept saying, something's going to happen in this match. Something's going to happen. Unfortunately, not yet. For just a reminder, my bold prediction was that Damian Priest would get involved in this match for a cash-in. And I either predicted he was going to get, that Drew McIntyre was either going to help Damian Priest cash it in, or, well, either way, he would help him win it and then turn, or Damian would cash in and then Drew would turn on Seth, but then him and the Judgment Day would all turn on Damian, and because the whole plan with Drew talking with Rhea was supposed to be, since Damian Priest has been showing some things where he's questioned stuff with the Judgment Day, that they kick Damian out of the stable and have Drew McIntyre replace him in the stable instead, giving the Judgment Day a little bit of a different direction. Also, with Drew McIntyre, obviously, feeling like that things aren't falling into place for him, and him being frustrated still that he had his biggest moment in front of no fans, and then ripped away by the by the Bloodline at Clash at the Castle last year. Now he's going to play dirty to have his own stable to do his dirty work and get him the world title. That's basically what I was predicting. It did not happen. It didn't happen. But I feel like what they did here was kind of setting up that seed. Because, first off, the match was great. These two have had a lot of matches. Well, I think they've really had a match since Money in the Bank 2020. They did wrestle a lot in 2018 into early 2019. whenever Drew was first called back up and he was paired with Dolph, because they had them fight Rollins and Ambrose a few times. But it's been a while, but these two have always had great chemistry. There was some really good close near falls. Like, I think Drew kicked out of a curb stomp. Seth Rollins also kicked out of a Claymore. And then Rollins does finish the match winning clean. Now, my thing, though, is Drew McIntyre, well, besides when he lost the IC title match to Gunther, ever since he's kind of, like, got this, like, refocused new attitude, he hasn't lost a match clean. Since, of course, he's had this, like, new, like, tweener-type attitude. And because after the match, they show, Drew, like, questioning himself. And then backstage, we have Rhea Ripley roll up, and she's like, well, the offer's on the table, and walks away. Which leads me to still believe that Drew is turning heel. I'm going to say he either turns heel before Survivor Series and is part of the Judgment Day in War Games, or he could be on the baby, because you see, it's tough because Survivor Series, I saw this is going to be a mix of both War Games and some brand versus brand bragging rights supremacy, whatever you want to call it. But the way it's going right now, I could see Raw getting the men's War Games match, and SmackDown, even though it's the weaker division, getting the women's War Games match. We'll talk about that when we get to the women's World Championship match. As I said, I'm literally going to be going all in, throwing in some big names that's probably not going to happen on my Survivor Series card. We'll see. But, so that could still plant a seed. Because I feel like sometimes, like, in a heel turn, you gotta have that, like, that rock bottom moment. And this may have been that rock bottom moment for Drew McIntyre right here. So the next couple weeks on Raw, it will be interesting to see what Drew does. Because I don't think this was the last of this Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins feud. Or Drew McIntyre fighting for a world title. As of now. We'll have to wait and see, though, what happens further on down the line. But that's how we opened the main show. The second match, speaking of Mommy, was this women's Fatal 5-Way match for the WWE Women's World Championship. It was Rhea Ripley, the champion. She took on Nia Jax. Nia Jax. At least she didn't at least she wasn't like the biggest highlight of this match, or the one that was like heavily featured in this match, like she was with all the freaking promos in the build to this. But yeah, Nia Jax is one of the 5. Raquel Rodriguez, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Stark, who is still my pick to win the 2024 Women's Rumble. Don't judge, she still is. I thought this was a great match, I thought. Even with Nia involved, yes. Like I said, they didn't have Nia, they didn't focus on making her, the biggest star of this match. Raquel wasn't too bad either, but Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, and Rhea Ripley were the highlights of this match. Zoe doing that freaking dive, over the camera, man, was crazy. It's a crazy spot there. She has great agility. And that Z360 finisher is still one of my favorite finishers. I love it. Rhea Ripley looked awesome as always in the match too. This match was, showing that she is a true star. Although to give some light to the Raw women's division, which I feel like that they've really picked up some momentum the past month or so. Shockingly, ever since Nia Jax returned, which is weird. Personally, though, my favorite spot of this match, though, still had to be when Shayna Baszler put 3 women in a submission. I think 2 of them were in an Indian hook locks or something, heel hooks or something. And then I think she had Nia Jax in a sleeper hold at the same time. It was insane. And what I also liked, they did kind of protect all the women with the finish. Besides, of course, the avalanche power bombs and all the other, big double teams and whatnot. The match ended where I think someone hit their finisher on Shayna Baszler. And then Rhea Ripley, I think, while whoever it was pinning Shayna, I think it was Raquel, I think. Rhea then grabs Zoe on the top rope. Does an avalanche riptide on top of Shayna Baszler. But instead of pinning Zoe, Rhea pins Shayna. Because Shayna has just taken 2 finishers. So, okay, that kind of protects both of them decently. Again, great match. But, again, the whole point of this was to get everybody, moments to shine. I felt all of them as did, but especially Rhea, Zoe, and Shayna. Again, that triple submission maneuver thing was absolutely crazy. And definitely one of my favorite spots the entire night. But Rhea wins, and wherever she fights next, I don't know. We will just have to wait and see, though. All right, the highest peak of the of the night, because after this match, the crowd just died after this. John Cena versus Sikoa. So, this match, I probably said this recently, but I was definitely worried about the quality of this match going into it. Because when I saw Cena wrestle in that tag match, when he teamed up with LA Knight to take on Jimmy and Solo at Fastlane, I thought Cena looked very out of it. He didn't seem like he was in the best shape. Like, honestly, I felt like I was watching Kurt Angle again before Kurt Angle retired. If I'm being honest with that match. This one, though, he looked better. It did go on for a little long, yes. And the whole point of the match was John knows, of course, Solo's signature, which is the Samoan Spike. And Cena's objective was he was attacking the thumb, and he was also trying to prevent him from being hit with the spike. He grabbed the arm like several times. But then towards the end, Solo basically spiked the hell out of Cena's neck. He would, I think, like 11 Samoan spikes on him. It was a little hard to watch. And to my surprise, because I really thought they were going to have Cena win. I really thought they were going to have him win this match, especially since he's advising that it's been over 2,000 days since he last won a singles match. But no, Solo beat him clean. Solo wins. And afterwards, Cena gets a standing ovation, thanks the crowd as he walks out. Now, this could mean a few things. First off, I do believe Cena's current run is done. Maybe until WrestleMania, because I don't think this is his last match. I know some people are saying they think this could have been his last match ever. Which, storyline-wise, again, it's very, very rare that John Cena, says, I have to win this, and he doesn't win. Again, he lost clean. No Roman, no Jimmy, no interference whatsoever. He beat John Cena clean. With 11 Samoan spikes. That was very hard to watch. I'm okay with this. I mean, I know some people in the live chat were saying that they weren't. They thought Cena should have won, which I do agree. But it still leads us to this limbo of, was that it for Cena? Or will he be back? I still think he will be back. I don't think this was his last match. But it was still good. I liked how he put over Solo. I mean, Solo didn't really need the win, but it just kind of gives him that momentum boost. Especially down the line, whether he's still champion or not. I still want to see Solo take on his cousin, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. But, yeah, he destroyed Cena. The crowd absolutely died after this match. After this, we had this random Miz TV segment where the Miz was interviewing some movie star named Ibrahim, forgot what his full name was. And then Grayson Waller came out. Basically, they were arguing over with Ibrahim, who has the better show, Grayson Waller or The Miz. And basically sided with The Miz, and then they took out Grayson Waller. And then, of course, this Ibrahim guy does some very awful-looking, impersonations of, Inzaguri's. He also did a really bad-looking People's Elbow also as well. Of course, they had to tease us with that. I guess it was just to emphasize again that they're going with Miz having a face turn. We'll see again. I'm still going to wait on it because it just still feels a little forced. Because there really hasn't been a story with Miz going face. But when he does turn face, I will explain more. But yeah, that was there kind of just to randomly fill some time. I don't know why it was there, but I didn't really care, to be honest. But after that, like I said, the crowd just died for the rest of the show. Because we then got Rey Mysterio and Logan Paul for the United States Championship. And the match was still good, but it definitely wasn't as good as I thought it would be. Again, especially because the crowd was dead for the rest of the night, except for a return that happened in the following match. But, it was still good. There were a few botched spots. There, of course, was the one famous spot where Rey almost landed on his head, but Logan caught him and basically saved his life. Credit for Logan for that. Again, we all know I don't really like Logan Paul, but credit for that. And then the finish comes, similar to SummerSlam. It's a little more interesting. So one of Logan's cronies sneaks in and gives him brass knuckles. Rey, of course, sees them, knocks them out of his hand, and the brass knuckles go flying out onto the floor. Well, we then see his crony crawling for them. Now, I can't remember if the referee was distracted or what was going on. But then Santos Escobar comes in. And he goes to chase down the crony, but he randomly I feel like this is one of those moments they did want you to notice it and get. I think they were trying to prevent the audience from having as big of a reaction as they should have. Kind of I don't know if this is the best example, but in 2017, when they had that storyline with who was attacking Enzo Amore backstage, and of course it was Big Cass in the end. And remember there was that segment where Corey Graves said he'd like to shake the hand of the person who did this? And then Big Cass came out, I think it was either later that night or the week after, to confront him about accusing him of doing it or something, or being, involved with this. And then he shook Corey Graves' hand. That was a moment where it's it was foreshadowing something, but they were trying to make sure you didn't notice. I feel that's what happened with Santos, because he just randomly, as chasing down the crony, put the brass knucks back on the apron. Is that a tease for an LWO breakup, or at least them kicking Rey out of the LWO? Because Logan Paul did use the brass knuckles for that one lucky punch, and Logan Paul wins his first title in WWE, the United States Championship. I know I said in my preview that I would be okay with Logan winning the U.S. title. I did want him to win Money in the Bank again, the world title. U.S. title, fine. He does have a few programs that are setting up. I think they are going to do a rematch with him and Ricochet, which he can do because he's a free agent. They teased a match with him and Kevin Owens recently on SmackDown, so maybe they'll do that. My worry here, though, is that, again, the problem I have is actually not Logan Paul. My problem is now SmackDown's 2 singles titles are both held by part-timers. So when in the hell are they going to be defended? It's going to put a little bit of a damper on SmackDown. Again, I feel I would have him defend them at least at Survivor Series, Rumble, and then at Mania. Maybe at Elimination Chamber, unless if he's actually in the Elimination Chamber match. But I think you could have him fight Ricochet one pay-per-view, Kevin Owens at another, and I think the long-term goal is that WrestleMania 40 next year, have him drop the title to L.A. Knight. Yeah! Because again, they do have history. They have history because they had to beat each other in the promos built up to Money in the Bank. So much so that I actually wanted to see them have a match at SummerSlam. Didn't happen, but this could, of course, be an end goal for LA Knight for now to get the U.S. title, since he probably will not get to the world title, wink wink, for the main event. But yeah, good match. Not as good as I thought. Again, I just worry that what are they going to do with both the U.S. and the Universal titles, both SmackDown exclusive titles being away. I just worry a little because SmackDown stuff already feels so much more lower in the water than it does on Raw. So we'll see what happens. Match number 6. Io Sky versus Bianca Belair for the WWE Women's Championship. The crowd, again, not being in this hurt the match. It was solid. I mean, compared to what they did at Backlash, no. This was not as good. It was good for what it was. Bayley, of course, tried getting involved yet again. My goodness, why does every single heel have to have interference in their matches? Why can't it or be like Sikoa getting a clean victory over the greatest of all time? But, anyways. So while that's going on, the referee's distracted. There's other maneuvers going on in the ring. Then there was a spot in the middle of the match where Io went to attack Bianca, but Bianca got out of the way and instead got hit with Io accidentally hit Bayley instead. Oops. But Io didn't seem like she was too sorry about it. And then Bianca was getting some momentum. She was about to put Bayley through a table with a KOD, but then somebody jumps through the crowd and stops her from doing that. And sure enough, I kind of got this right because she didn't return how I thought she would, but it was Kairi Sane. Yep, Kairi Sane made her return since 2020. She's been gone for 3 years. She made her return, and she attacked Bianca Belair and helped Io Sky retain her title. Now, yes, I don't like that it's always damage control. You know, the same thing's happening with these heel champions. They can't have them win clean, but this at least has like a fresh direction for Io Sky. Could be a fresh direction for Bayley, because afterwards, Io and Kairi beat down on Bianca a little bit more, and then they celebrate together and leave Bayley out. So, first off, it's going to be it's going to be a Japanese stable with Io and Kairi, maybe throw an Asuka there as well. And I also read a rumor where it said a 4th member could be involved, and it's somebody you wouldn't expect. I wonder who that is. We'll have to, of course, wait and see. But I have heard that apparently Io and Kairi, I think, were part of a stable in Japan one time called Black Lotus or something like that. This could be the tease to a future Black Lotus stable with them, possibly, if what I'm hearing. And get Asuka involved there. Although eventually you do want to do Io versus Kairi, revisit Io and Asuka, or even a freaking triple threat again, which would be freaking awesome. But of course, we'll talk more about this, especially with Kairi being a heel now in my Turn Alert video. But yeah, other than the return, the match was meh. I mean, it wasn't horrible again. It's just the crowd wasn't into it like they were in Backlash, which hurt it a little bit. But Io retains, and again, the Pirate Princess, Kairi Sane, is back. After that, we had Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest. Solid match we've seen many, many times. Interference from all the Judgment Day, and then, of course, Jey Uso super kicks with... Also, back up for a second, I forgot to mention something. In the opening match on the main show, after the match, Damian Priest went to cash in, but then Sami Zayn appeared in a black hoodie and attacked Priest and stole his briefcase. And Michael Cole did say something like, Sami Zayn has vowed to remove as much power from the Judgment Day as possible, which at first made me wonder maybe if they're doing a War Games match with Judgment Day and like Cody, Jay, Sami, Ricochet, and of course maybe Drew McIntyre in there as well or something. But maybe what if they did like a winner take all match at Survivor Series in the men's match? But then again, it wouldn't work really because not everybody, I think, with the titles is going to be involved in the match. So yeah, they did that, and then it was just typical. It was a match that could have just happened on Raw. It was fine though. Cody Rhodes wins. Main event time. Roman Reigns versus L.A. Knight. Yeah. Match was fine. It was just the same shit as always with a Roman Reigns match. He beats the crap out of you for like 10 minutes and the match drags. Then the opponent gets like some momentum and makes some comebacks. Kicks out of one of Roman's spears. They get their finisher hit on Roman. Someone from the bloodline gets involved and prevents Roman from losing. And then they bloodline get attacked just for Roman Reigns to spear LA Knight through the barricade and throw him back in the ring and spear him again. And he wins. I mean, okay, yeah, they had, like, again, the visual pin where it looked like that he had Roman beat, but his foot got in the ropes thanks to Jim Uso. But, I'm starting to get tired now. I'm sorry, guys. But again, I mean, yeah, they protected LA Knight, yes. But it's still the same thing over and over and over again. And worst part is, Roman Reigns is rumored to not be at Survivor Series, which I think is ridiculous. I still think if he is, they should do, and this is the only one I'm giving the exception to, they should really do a champion versus champion match, prove who's the better champion with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Again, they have unfinished business. I keep saying that the only match that Roman didn't have a victory, he got disqualified with, was the match he had against Rollins at Rumble 2022, and he lost by disqualification. So to me, it's kind of like you should do and Rollins has been calling out Roman this year a lot too. They should do a champion versus champion match at Survivor Series. That sounds reasonable to me. I'm thinking we're going to get like 5 or 6 matches for Survivor Series. Who they're going to be, I'll tell you guys, of course, later on. But that happened, and that was the show. I gave it a C+. Again, it wasn't horrible, but it just wasn't lighting the world on fire. It dragged a little. The crowd died after that John Cena loss and whatnot, but let's check the live chat now and get ready to go to bed. It's more so Robbie. Tyler also saying break up the Judgment Day. Your predictions for this year's War Games match, especially the women's. Do you see that one being in interpromotional? I would like it to be. I forgot to mention it, but I think what's going to happen is I think the women are 4-on-4. I think they're going to have Io, Kairi, Bayley, maybe Asuka join them. I don't know. Take on, even though I'm not completely crazy with this, Shotzi, Bianca, Charlotte, I can't remember who the last one was, but basically, even though I feel like they're teasing some more brand supremacy stuff with, the new GMs of Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce, I still feel like there's going to be something more to the War Games matches. Because right now, if I can predict them, I would say Raw gets the men's, SmackDown gets the win. But there could be some mixes in there. He also says, hey Mike, glad you got a nice kick out of that story I posted about Zoe from the house show I went to. Even this late at night, we gotta take a second to say, hashtag, thank you Trish. Yes, you're right. Io and Kairi are part of the Black Lotus triad in Lucha Underground. Not New Japan, Lucha Underground. That's an entire episode dedicated to them versus Penta, Cero Miedo in a gauntlet match. Jeez. But yeah, I do interested to see, of course, what they would do with that. Tyler doesn't want Io versus Kairi, which is fine. I've been wanting that matchup for a long time. But this time it won't be my best friend. They're going to be evil. And we'll have to wait and see, of course, what happens with that. But, of course, I will talk about that in my Turn Alert video that I think if I splash some hot water on my face, I can do that really quick before I go to bed. And then we will, of course, go from there and get stuff caught up and do other things this week. And we will be rolling on the river. Rolling on the river. Okay, I'm going K-Wire. But yeah, C+ for Crown Jewel. Again, probably the weakest show this year. Again, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't that great either. C+, on the road to Survivor Series. One last pay-per-view review left for the year, unless I decide to get into AEW, but I highly doubt I'm going to do an AEW pay-per-view reviews for Full Gear and World's End. I doubt I'm going to do reviews, but you never know. I could get the bug. We'll see. So, guys, once again, what are your thoughts on Crown Jewel? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Be sure, as always, to slap a like on the video, subscribe for more content on my channel, follow me on Twitter at the Club with the Man 93. Also, follow me on TikTok and Instagram at the Club with the Man 93. Again, the big goal: we are 48 subscribers away from 2,000. So make sure you subscribe and hop on the road to 2,000 subscribers. I could really use your help, guys, because if I can get it by the end of the year, that'd be awesome. If not, we'll get it in 2024. But it'd be nice to get it before the end of the year. So again, hopefully I get to pound out some more content. Again, I didn't get to do any more of my video game Let's Plays, but hopefully I get to those. My wife made a suggestion for something for December. Again, I'm still in the process of the pre-planning for it. Hopefully I can get it ready to do in December, but again, we'll wait and see if that happens or not. Depends on how busy I get the next couple of weeks, as the weekends are going to get busier. Again, Mel's World's next for my Roller Coaster Tycoon Let's Play. I've started Return to Danger for my next Wolfenstein Let's Play, but I'm still not ready to be uploading videos for that yet. Other stuff I'm working on, hopefully get a couple more shorts in there. Maybe that retro live reaction to a certain horrible match at Crown Jewel. Everybody tells me it's horrible that I've never seen, but I've seen the build for it. But maybe I'll get to that as well. We'll wait and see. But guys, once again, that's my thoughts. I'll catch you guys all later. You have a good rest of your night. And do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion. That is the fact of life. Yeah!